here in VT Radio Universal Land. I am so excited to be here today to just share with you so many great things that are going on in my life today. Well, I just got back from Mississippi about a couple of weeks ago, and that was exciting. I went back for another decades class reunion. And I hadn't seen people that I graduated with since a lot of them since 1975. And then, of course, we had a class reunion in between where, after 20 years, we had a class reunion, and that was exciting. But this big adventure we went to was very exciting because I had already spoken it in my book, From Cotton Picking to Dream Weaving, that the companies that I have built, I wanted to take them back to Mississippi. And I spoke about it in my book. And the book was published back in 2014, some time ago. So another prophecy that I spoke. So when I get to Mississippi, the people are so kind and so loving, just as I wished and prayed for in this book. So that was a sign from God saying, it is okay. Mississippi is on board because all you need is love and kindness to get anything moving. I was also on the news when I was there. My book is available if you're interested. You can get a copy on Amazon. Do leave a review because I would love to hear what your comments are after you read my book. And that means a lot too, to the ratings of the book, which people look at it and say, wow, this person really enjoyed reading it. So anyway, get a copy of my book. And as I was saying, I just had a great time going back to Mississippi and visiting with my family again. As a matter of fact, this was my fourth time going back to Mississippi. Now, I've never traveled that many times in my entire life since I've been here, 43 years in the state of Washington. The first time to go travel back to Mississippi 4 times in a year. Well, it was also October 14th was the big event. October 13th last year, 2022, I was in Mississippi again because my sister, the one you see in the picture here, who goes with me everywhere I go, her name is Carlene Hughes Trotman. She passed away last year, October 13th. So I was back at home for a 1-year anniversary or celebration of her homegoing. And so that was nice. We got an opportunity to go to the graves and, leave flowers and just go talk to those that are resting in Jesus, So I did videotaping because I'm working on a documentary of my life from, it's all about breaking generational curses. That is what the documentary is going to be about. It's going to be about how God is bringing all races together, and we're coming together as one, and we're coming together in love, my people. That's what is getting ready to happen. But I'm going to tell you, it's certainly not easy going out and working and trying to transform the minds of these people. Something has gotten in the mindset of people, and they are not seeing anything only one way, and that's the way they see things. And a lot of times, the way we see things might not be the right way. So now here we are in a ministry on a mission to get to the people and educate them, tell them, at least give them a choice. People are perishing for lack of knowledge. That's what Hosea 4:6 says. And if you really think about that scripture, it's true. People are perishing because nobody wants to say anything. Well, I got to tell you about the scammers because I just got scammed the last of September. I was so busy and had so much going on my mind, and I wished and hoped and said, if it would have been someone in this house to warn me and said, that doesn't sound right, Doris, but I didn't have that. So therefore, I got sucked into the game. But oh boy, you know what I told them? I said, you ran up on the wrong person now. Because if you are doing me in, I am getting ready to do you in. Because word of mouth, we are going to annihilate you. And you know what I found now? A lot of us have been scammed and nobody is talking about it. Can I ask a question? And I want you to think about this answer. Why are we as people of God protecting the evil? Have you noticed that about God's people? We don't say nothing about anything evil. We keep it quiet so evil will prevail. We have to stop that. That is not good, people. I don't know if you didn't know this, but this is a time to stop and reflect on what I just said. We are not opening our mouths and telling people nothing. So therefore, people are perishing because of that. Do you think that God is pleased with that behavior? You who are saints that's worshiping and praising and going to church and doing Bible studies, are you in the community spreading the love of Jesus like Jesus commanded us to do? Well, I am going to be talking with you today. My subject is, you can stay where you are. And that means look at your surroundings and where are you? Or you can get up and leave. Those are the two choices that God has given you. We all have two choices, people. Well, I get to share with you my story, how I made a decision to get up and leave. I could have stayed where I was, and that means I would still be in Mississippi, walking around there like a lot of them that I saw. A lot of people, you know, they're not really taking care of themselves. A lot of them teeth are out of their mouths, and a lot of them surely not eating well, because Jesus said a closed mouth does not get fed. You think about that word I just said. Closed mouth don't get fed. If you think about it, do you see a lot of you mouths are closed? And if it is open, what are you talking about? What are you giving back to the community? A lot of you are doing nothing. And you know who you are. It is time to stand up and ask God, why am I here? What do I supposed to be doing? I don't understand why people are not giving you that advice. But you know what? 10 years ago, God created this ministry through me to give back to his people. Now, after 10 years of getting up and leaving from the place that I was, let me tell you a story, what happened along the journey. Well, you know, first of all, it all goes back to 2010, 2009, 2010. Let's go even back further, 2006. My husband at the time, John, refinanced my home. Yes, the house belonged to me because when I married him, God had already blessed me and Carlos with this house. So he refinanced my home. And somewhere I was so busy as a businesswoman and taking care of Carlos because at the time I was a leader in a business, beauty business. I was a leader. I was driving 4 cars. I was busy. I was focused on running a business and not focus on the things that were around me. So John refinanced the house and they brought papers to me and they asked me to sign them. Lo and behold, I'm trusting in the man that's doing the paperwork. Little did I know, 4 years later, 2010, I find papers of what I signed. At the time, I didn't know what did I sign. I ran to the guy at the mortgage company and I says, what was this? What is this? What did I sign? And he said, Doris, you signed a quitclaim deed, meaning you gave your house over to John. And I says, oh my God. I says, I did what? The first thing that came out of my mouth with him, and he had on a red shirt. I've never seen a person's face turn as red as the shirt he had on. I almost jumped across that desk and told him, I says, God is going to get you and he's going to get John, because neither one of you had no rights to tell me to sign something and not tell me what it was. Oh my goodness. Well, by then I have lost it. 2009, I decided to step down from the position of being a sales director. And the following year was when I found the papers that 4 years prior, I had signed my name, my home, over to my husband. And the bad part is, boy, oh boy, did he get a nice little chunk of change that I didn't even get a chance to hardly touch any of it. So, you know, by now, 4 years later, I'm pretty pissed off. So I lost it. I literally lost it because I felt betrayed, deceived, all of the above. And when I really did try to approach my husband and ask him about this, he had fallen off the wagon and had gone back to the life of drugs. So now I'm talking to somebody that's hiding from me. You're not telling me anything. And the more he hid things, the more it got to me. So time brought about a change in my life. That is when I made a vow to God and I said, Lord, I got to do something to stop your people. This evil and unkindness and crookedness that's going on has to stop. We are people, these are people that's been brought up in the church. Their parents was good leaders in the church, and their children decided to go another direction and do wrong, but yet still hide behind their Bibles. Oh my God. And we're seeing a lot of this today. It's got to stop. I am telling you on this day, October 27th, it's got to stop. I am only the messenger, people. So I made a vow to God that I would get out and go tell his people that there is another way to life. This way we're living right now with all the wickedness going on and all the crooked and the lying and all the cheating. There is another side. So I made a promise. I asked God, I said, Lord, show me what to do. I promise you, I will make a difference in this world. So 2012 came along, and by now I'm knowing John is not well. Still, I don't know what the problem is. I thought it was alcohol, but later on I found out it was a drug addiction. See, it kept a secret from me. He was very good at hiding it too. And then the bad part is a lot of time people that you love and people of people's families, they don't bother to go into details and tell stories. So people are perishing for lack of knowledge due to the fact that no one will tell a story. And what does it cost to tell a story? You could save many lives by telling stories. But we don't want to tell stories. So therefore, since we don't tell stories, you are really protecting the devil and the spirit of evil. Shame on you people. It is time for you to wake up now. I'm just a messenger. I come to tell you the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And God is coming to wake you up so you won't be killed, stolen, and destroyed. So that's when he created this ministry, Divine Divas Ministries, in my mind and in my heart. I was already Divine Divas because that was the name of my group of women in the beauty business that I was part of. And I'm still part of, I shouldn't say was, but I was a leader at the time. I was Divine Divas. And I made it a ministry because I was in a business that was created as a ministry. So I just put ministry on the end of Divine Divas and went out there in the marketplace and begin to share what God had put on my heart to give back to the communities. So 2012, I go to Mississippi. But before I go to Mississippi, I know what it was. April 2012, I got to tell you the story. This is what happened when I got up and left from where I was. And the message is today is you have to leave from where you are so God can bless wherever your movement are. If you're not moving right now and you're stuck in a spot where you've been all your life, it's time to get up, my people, and move to another location. And that location is doing something with your mind and your heart, educating others, whatever it is that you can do. We will be able to grow together in this ministry. 2012, April 2012. No, let me go back, 2011. Okay, after I stepped down 2010, I found the papers. Woo-hoo, I lost my mind. I really literally lost my mind. I had to go to counseling to get my head back straight because I was so devastated, and I loved my husband, but I was also devastated of the story that happened. So 2011, I made a vow to Carlos. I said, Carlos, mama is going to make you famous. 2012, Easter Sunday, we were getting ready to go to church, me, John, and Carlos. And I was asking John a question, and Carlos belted out a miracle at the age of 32 years old. 10 years ago, he spoke a complete sentence. He said, I don't know, when he heard me asking a question to John. I said that day before we even got ready for church, I said, John, let's go to church on Easter Sunday. I said, somebody is going to get healed. I said, let's go get your healing, John. God is going to heal you today. And I was saying, somebody getting ready to get some healing up in this house. And do you know, Carlos belted out that sentence. John never got his healing because John was hiding behind secrets. God can't heal you when you got secrets, people. But he healed Carlos that day. He healed my child, and he spoke a complete sentence. 10 years ago, I get on the radio April 2012, 29th, 2012. Aurelia Michael, a beautiful lady I met in the beauty business. She was on my team. I was her leader. And we worked together for a few years before she stepped down and moved on and started a ministry. Well, I was on Facebook promoting and talking about Divine Divas Ministry. And she posted to me and said, I would like to talk to you about this new ministry, Divine Divas. And she came to my home and we talked about it. She says, I want you to show up at the studio this Sunday. And I showed up at that studio and got on the air with that woman. And she began to talk to me and I began to tell her what God had put in my heart. I said, everything I say, Aurelia, everything I say, you people, I told the world on the radio that day, April 29th, 2012. I says, everything I say, it just falls right in my lap. And it does. So when I got on the radio and spoke that message, when I got off the air, that's when I took off. I went to Mississippi that year, July 2012. I get there and I tell everybody who would listen to me, I'm giving you $1 million. I'm going to give you $1 million. I'm going to give you $1 million. They all looked at me so strange, but everybody says, well, okay. Nobody doubted my voice because I was speaking things into the airwaves, speaking things that did not exist as though it did. I says, I'm going to give it to you like I already had it. I ain't have no $1 million. So I come home and I thought, oh Lord, I done told these people all about this $1 million. And here's what I did. That was July when I professed that prophecy. August, September, October, 3 months later, I decided to legalize Divine Divas by starting my own business as Divine Divas Ministries, LLC. Now, by October, comes November, I'm in the studio again, the same studio I was in 7 months prior, back in April. Well, I'm in the studio in November, 7 months to the date. It was after Thanksgiving. I was on the air April 29th, 2012, November 29th, after Thanksgiving. I'm in the studio talking about my own radio show. And yes, I said, I would love to be on the radio. And the theme of my ministry is a new beginnings. So for 10 years, I created nothing but new beginnings. And we are getting ready to go out and show you that God is the God of new beginnings, and his people are not doing anything. There's no new beginnings in your life. All you're doing is just going to church on Sunday, doing your praise and worship, going to your Bible study, and then you're back home. And souls are just dropping like flies all around you. Souls, people are dying, perishing, because we don't have the power of God to reach out and bring them people in. Well, when you come in Divine Divas Ministry, you're going to have some powers, because otherwise you're not going to come in here unless God sends you with those powers. Getting back to November 2012, I agreed to the show, but you never do anything at the end of the year. Right now is my birthday, October 24th. Tuesday was my birthday. And prior to that, I weeped and wept and wept. And you probably wonder, why were you crying, Doris? I was crying because 10 years prior, I started a ministry. And it took me 10 years with God's help of building this ministry. No banks. In the 7th year of the pandemic, God showed up with money. And when he showed up with the money, he's been blessing the ministry ever since. So now on my birthday this year, 2023, October 24th, 2023, God showed me the wealth that I had spoken years prior. The wealth is here. All we have to do is I'm looking for people that are warriors, that wants to teach God's people that there is another way. There is two sides to every coin. And right now we're only living on one side. We are going to go and show you what the other side of life has available for you. So at this particular time, I am looking for business leaders to partner up with this ministry. I want to do Zoom meetings and just bring all you business leaders on there so I can talk to you to see if you would be a fit to be a part of this ministry. And I am asking you, let's work together for 5 years to see what God has in order for us. And in those 5 years, we will be doing events. We will be bringing people together. There is going to be wealth circulating around this earth. We're going to be doing events, comedy shows, teaching shows, whatever we want. We will be able to do those things to bring God's people together so we can put that love in their spirits so they can walk away a new being. See, Jesus walked this earth and the purpose he said is love was the key. Love, and the main thing is going on there is no love nowhere in a lot of these people. And I wonder why. Because God's people have failed us. Jesus said to go out and teach these people something. He said, go out in the highways and byways, go under the bridge, wherever, find the poor, talk to the poor, teach the poor, feed the poor. This world is so selfish, nobody don't want to do anything. Your mouths are closed and you're so selfish and you have nothing. And that you do have, you're probably taking it from somebody and they gave it to you. No, you didn't. They didn't give it to you. You took it. And if you took anything, you know payback is coming, baby. I'm just a messenger. Just like these scammers, I want them to know you will be punished for the evilness that you're doing, taking advantage of God's people. And they are making it big time, baby, because you, as sitting right here listening, you won't talk about it. Well, one thing we're doing in Divine Divas Ministry, I want you to know this. The first conversation we're going to do when we meet people to see if they are fit. We're going to talk about these scammers because the more you talk about them, the more they will shut down. I can't believe God's people of God, closing their mouths and not telling people things that's going on in this earth. And Jesus walked this earth and gave you the authorities. I give you the authority to go out here and teach these people. I give you the authority to heal them. You can even raise them from the dead if you got the power. But no, we want to take on the spirit of the devil and keep all this pressure going on, stress in our lives. We ain't talking about nothing. All we doing is talking about each other. You're broke as a $3 bill. And you're broke because you won't use God to go out and make a difference in this world. Wealth is in your gifts and talents. There's a passage in the Bible where it speaks about your gifts and your talent. There's a parable. You know what Jesus said? He broke it down. He said, those that took their gifts and went out in the community like Divine Divas Ministries is trying to get God's people to do, come out of them pews people of God. You are it. You are the one supposed to be helping and saving souls. You are not saving any souls, maybe one or two that go up and give their lives, and the whole world is crying. People are dying and starving every day because God's people won't do what God told us to do. Shame on us. Shame on us. I'm doing my part. I've sold out to give my life to the Lord. And I haven't been to no banks. I don't want nobody's wicked money, because the God I serve, baby, he's going to bring me what I need. You are going to bring wealth in here because you will be signing contracts to work in this ministry. And by you helping me bring people in this ministry who sign those contracts, God said, give you wealth. He says, give you $2,500 back every time you help bring people and they go out and disperse as leaders and teachers of God. I got the School of Learning. I'm looking for teachers because people are hungry. They need to be fed. But this got to be in order. But I'm not taking any demons. I'm not taking any people that don't love God and his people. I'm not taking any people that just love money and that's all you want. We serve a God that owns all the money, and I'm getting ready to give you money galore. When we do events together, we're going to collaborate. You can come in this company, you can come in the ministry, and we can collaborate with Carlos and Friends Foundation. We can do fundraisers. Let's raise money because I'm building facilities to help the disabled community. See, it's in the giving, people. Y'all don't want to give, and that's where your blessings are. And you sure don't want to run your mouth, because that's why the scammers are getting over, because you are being quiet and they are winning. You know that's not from God, and you all are God's people. At least you profess to be one. You go to church and you praise and you're worshiping. But it's time to come out of those pews, people. Because if you don't, I don't see anything beautiful on your horizon. This is what the prophetess is speaking to you. This is my job, to tell you the truth. Now, you can look at me and say, woman, you're not telling the truth. You can say whatever you want. I'm speaking the truth. And Jesus said the truth will set you free. It's time to get out of them pews, baby, and hit these streets and get out here and do what Jesus told us to do. People are waiting for you, and Divine Divas Ministries is waiting too. 2012, it all began just from words that I spoke out of my mouth. God healed Carlos. That's a message. It's a testimony. Yes, he healed him. And then he put me on the radio to go and tell more stories. Boy, oh boy, and I love my job. I really do. I love it. And it feels good to be blessed in God's wealth. See, God's wealth ain't nothing like the wealth what the world is getting out there. Because a lot of times the world has got money. People, they are wealthy because somebody that is a devil gave them that money. We don't want no devil's money up in here. No. Haven't been to no banks. God dropped it all in my lap. And baby, if he's dropping it like that, he's going to drop some more. I got more stories to tell you of the 10 years of what happened for me when I got up and left from where I was. And 10 years later, I'm sitting on top of the world, blessed by the best, and you know the rest. So there's no need of being jealous of what God can do for you. You got to repent. You got to look at yourselves. You got to see the things you are doing are not right. And you need to stop. You need to turn right and go straight. And I'm here to tell you, when you turn right and go straight, boy, the blessings up the road of peace for you is just going to be phenomenal. And they're all coming from God. So 2012, I'm in there doing the radio. 2012, December 2012, I got to tell you two more prophetic things that happened. Okay, I go to Mississippi July. I'm telling everybody, I'm going to give you this and I'm going to give you that. Well, my sister Nancy and her family all wore green that Christmas. Everybody had on green. Do you know what the color green means? Christmas color green? It means new beginnings. So they dressed in green for new beginnings. And lo and behold, do you know what happened with that year after they all wore green and the new beginnings? My nephew, Tyree, comes out of there as a professional football player. He's still playing professional with the New York Giants. His sister gets a job. She works for a senator of Mississippi. I think he's a senator. The other kids are all playing college football and baseball, all on scholarships. My nephew Tyree played football the last year of high school. And as soon as he got out there playing, he went professional after he was promoted to play college football and won championships as a college student. My other sister, Pauline, her grandson also got a career professional football with the New York Jets. You get my point here, people? We are people that put our dreams into the universe, and we got to teach God's people that this is the way to get God moving in your lives. God will move when you move. Y'all ain't moving, and he ain't moving either. But this ministry is not a ministry where we're sitting in a building and worshiping. Yes, I love worshiping God. I worship God all the time, anytime. It is time to go out and work for God. So that's what Divine Divas Ministry is. It is a business, and we work for God. So if people need teaching in ministry, they need to be educated. It is here for them. I'm looking for ministry to work with us so we can bring more people to the fold and at least just let them know this is what it's like to know God. He's free to be in your life, but let us teach you the way. One other story I have to share with you, December 2012. My neighbor across the street had a white elephant Christmas party. I meet a lady there. And you know, the white elephant is a business. I mean, it's something you just go and you bring gifts and you share gifts from your house. Another man's junk is another man's treasure, okay? That's kind of like that kind of thing. So anyway, I go in my jewelry box and I get this beautiful bracelet because back in the day when I was in the beauty business, we used to have, they give you such pretty stuff. So I had to part with that bracelet. I said, I'm going to share this one. But before I took it over, I put it in the bag and put tissue paper. And I said, Lord, whoever gets this bracelet, I want you to bless them. So I go and I put the bracelet and I'm waiting on the table to see who got the bracelet. And then after the party is over, I go over and find out who's got that bracelet because I got a prophetic message to tell them because I prayed prior. And I said, God's getting ready to bless somebody who gets this bracelet. So I gave it, I walked around and I found out who it was. And the lady says, I like the bracelet, but my friend likes it better. And I gave it to her. I said, well, I need to tell your friend something. I says, I prayed and asked God that whoever gets this bracelet, Lord, I want you to bless them. And that young lady said, wow, this is great. She's just been diagnosed with breast cancer. She still had they just put the port was in her chest. I could see it. And I says, oh my. So I went over and I put my arms around her and I prayed and I says, ma'am, just met her. I said, do you want God to heal you of your breast cancer? And she said, yes, I do. I said, well, Jesus said where two or more in agreement, it is done. And I said, then you asked for this bracelet. Your friend gave you this bracelet. And I said a special prayer that whoever gets this bracelet, God is going to bless you. And she believed in the prayer because Jesus did say where two or more are in agreement, he's in the midst. Well, let me tell you what happened 7 months later. I get a call and I said, you got to come on the radio because I must tell the world this story. 7 months later in July, the first part of July, on my radio show, she was cancer-free. Boy, did we do some celebrate. And she said, Doris, you all right, Doris? I said, no, Doris ain't nothing, baby. Oh, we giving God all this praise, baby, because God is the one that did it. I'm just a messenger. So that was a huge blessing. And do you know, in her 10th year, this woman called me in her 5th year, still cancer-free. I tell you, when God do something for you, baby, I tell you, it's out of sight. It's all right, and it's out of sight. 10 years, she still gets on my show, and we have a happy moment of 10 years being cancer-free. So my message is this: prayer is power for people. But some of you are not praying because you're playing with God. You ain't serious with your walk, because if you were serious with your walk, you'd be out there teaching and preaching just like Miss Doris is doing right now. And that is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who wants to come out of their comfort zone and go out here and spread the good news. God is looking for people to do that. That is what Jesus died for you to go and do that. And none of you are doing nothing but protecting the devil and the wickedness that he's doing all around us. It's wake up time, people. It's time to wake up. I'm just a messenger. If you feel anything I've said and you know you are that, it's time to fall on your knees and reach out to the true God and pray for his presence in your life. Don't you know God will show up and do that for you? But see, nobody is telling you this because the people that you're listening to are not filled with this power that God has given those on the outside. It's time to be on the outside, people. And on the outside, you'd say, well, what can I be doing outside? A business. Believe it or not, when Jesus said to go out and teach, he shared in my spirit that the only way we're going to do this is in a business. I'm in business where they got healthy water. This water is so good, your body feels like it's like a river. It's light, it flows smoothly. The blood in your veins flows smoothly. You are feeling relaxed. You just, peace is what comes upon you when the power of God is resonated in your life. And you can't be still. You got to go tell somebody. So I'm looking for workers. I got businesses for you to go out and share with your next door neighbor. All they can say is yes or no. And you never know. They might be saying yes. But you never know if you don't go out and ask them. People are perishing for lack of knowledge, and it's our fault. Christians, worshipers of God, it's our fault because we're the ones supposed to be sharing. But I would love to work with you. I want to partner up with you. But nobody comes through this ministry unless you connect with me first. Because I'm not about no money. See, a lot of y'all love money. Why should I love money when the God I serve owns it all? And when we do events, we're going to split that 50-50. Oh, yes, after all the expenses are paid, I'm going to bless you with half. That's what God wants of you. You need money. See, the problem is y'all have no money and the world ain't giving you none. They don't care. And when you do go out and work for them, they don't appreciate you. They give you less. And so therefore, since they're giving you less, then you're giving them less. And nobody is winning. Ain't no devils riding on this train. You hear me? God is sending me his people. And I'm telling you, they're coming 1, 2, 3 at a time. They ain't coming in groves, because a lot of you are fence straddlers. And ain't no fence straddlers riding on this train. You know, when I say a fence straddler, that means you're either hot or you're cold. But then that lukewarm in the middle, that's the fence straddlers. You're lukewarm because you're playing with both sides of the spectrum. You're dealing with the devil, but yet you want to deal with God. But I want you to know one thing out there, people. Here's how you're going to know when you run up on the true God's people. They are out there speaking in groves, and the message is off the chart. I mean, off the charts. That's when you know you've been called and working and doing God's work. That's who I'm looking for. I'm not looking for nobody sitting in no building just praising and worshiping. You got to come out of them pews to get what God's given us up in here. So if you want to do that, I got businesses wide open for you, because if you want to go out in the community, you got to take God to these people. And it's certainly not going to happen with you just sitting in the church, because ain't nobody going to listen to you. Now, you know that's the truth, too. They ain't listening. They don't want nothing to do with it. That's why the pews are empty. Nobody is going. The people are on the outside. They hungry. They need us on the outside. And maybe once we get them on the outside and wake them up and they see the love and the spirit of the Lord, they might want to go on the inside. But right now, we're doing everything the wrong way. I think Paul even described it like that in the Bible. He says, everything I want to do wrong when I should be doing right. I'm just paraphrasing, but that's the way God's people are. We will focus on the wrong before we turn right. And the bad thing about it is that we are living the wrong way and won't change. And we think that God is blessing us. Well, let me just tell you one thing about the God. There are two gods. There is a God that I spell with a capital G, and there is a God with a little g. And a lot of y'all are running around with the little g God. The little g God ain't nobody but the devil. And the devil blessed you too. So you thinking you running around here being blessed? And it could be the little g God that's the God of this world blessing you. If you were anointed and on fire for God, you would be in front of a screen just like me. And that's what God is sending me. I'm looking for people that's ready to speak. And don't worry about the words. Remember Jeremiah, God told Jeremiah, go and tell my people. Jeremiah said, God, I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to say. And God says, don't you worry in so many words, Jeremiah. I'll do the speaking for you. So the person you are hearing today is the Spirit of God that is embedded inside of me, because I prayed and asked God to give it to me so I can go and make a difference in the lives of his people. And you know what God did? He honored exactly what I said. And before he honored me, my sister up there, Carlene Trotman, I write about her in my book. I tell you the story about all of my sisters. Was a total of 6 of us, and we were all alive for a long time until Carlene just went home last year. But God brought her out of Mississippi because she asked God. See, we ain't asking God. And when we're asking, we ain't got the patience and the faith to wait on God. We go above God and we do it our way. And therefore, you're blocking your blessings when you do that. My sister asked God to get her out of the cotton field. And you know what God did? Just what she asked him. That's something that make you go, A lot of y'all know this. But when you ask God for something, you won't even hardly praise him. You won't even go tell nobody what God did for you. You put it in a box and seal it. And therefore, the world can't be blessed by your blessing. Shame on you people who call yourself children of God. If you are children of God, it is time for you to get up out of your seats and move from where you are and go somewhere else and watch and see, won't God take you places you've never been before. But he can't do it as long as you're sitting idly by. And you know the old saying, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. Well, that workshop is rolling big time. Them gum scammers, if they ain't got an idle mind. And they eating good too. Jesus said a closed mouth don't get fed, and their mouths are not closed, and they are eating good. All because you are keeping your mouth closed. If you don't start speaking about those people so people will know who they are and what they're doing, because they got me. They hit me up on my computer. Okay, I'm a senior citizen. If only someone in this house would have told me, but there was no one. Carlos couldn't tell me nothing, but that's okay. God allowed it to happen for a reason. I've been banking with a bank for 43 years, and they claimed I came out of my bank and said that people was charging pornography on my card, and they got in my head and messed it up. But that's okay. God allowed it because wealth was on my horizon. My wealth was right at the door. And the bank that they pulled this scam on, I was getting ready to take all my wealth and throw it in that bank. And God says, no, run, baby, run. I'm out of there. And I look at things. I always analyze things. And that's when you will know the power of God is in your life. When you analyze things, God will show up in your analyzation. You will see the spirit and the power of God in analyzing things. Anything that happens in your life, analyze it, and you will see God written all over the things that you analyze. God is right there beside us. Jesus is right beside you. But y'all won't even stop long enough to acknowledge him, to praise him, to thank him. Oh, you saints, it's time to wake up, my people. If you don't wake up, it ain't gonna be pretty. That's all I got to say. And this prophetess knows what she's talking about. I've been called at a time such as this to speak the truth. I will be doing events. I want to come and do events in your location. And we're going to bring the people in the community. Let's put love in the mind of these people. Love is like a virus, people. It's like that pandemic that ran around here and took people out of here. Love is like a virus, and a smile is like a virus. We got people around here, they won't even smile. I know why they're smiling, because they're crooked. Crooked people cannot be happy. And it shows in their faces. Let them smile. They can't smile. I saw a picture the other day on Facebook. I could have swore up and down. I said, Lord, I ain't trying to judge, but this could be the people that's robbing us over here, bone dry. I saw a family, they were decked out people. I mean, the whole family was decked. It was one of these third world countries over in Africa, because that's where I hear these people are robbing us from. I ain't never seen somebody so decked out, even down to the baby in the arm was decked to the nine. Ooh, and the colors were so pretty. And everybody's standing there smiling. You can tell a smile from God when you see it. It lights your face up. These people just sitting there with a smile. Then you get over there to the husband. He got this blank look on his face. I don't know if they were scammers or not, but if they were, boy, they sure was rich. I could tell by the clothes they were wearing. They was hooked up. That's what's happening over here in these countries, because you have the audacity to keep your mouth shut. And that is not, children of God, that is not what you were put on this earth to do. We all have something to do. And it's time for you to decide. You can either stay where you are, or you can get up and leave. And I like to tell this story of a passage in the Bible. It's either in Nehemiah or Numbers. I don't know exactly. But it says there was a group of people that had been warned that there's an army coming and they are killing people. So the people said, if we stay here, we're going to die. And if we get up and leave, we're going to die also. So they huddled around themselves and had to decide, what shall we do? If we stay here, we're going to die. If we leave, we're going to die. Think about today, same scenario. If you stay where you are doing nothing, yes, you're going to die right there in that spot. But if you get up and leave, yes, you're going to die up the road. But what's going on in between there, people? Well, let me tell you the story of what happened, of the people that decided, well, we're going to leave. Well, as they leave, they go up the road a piece and they hear the army shooting and killing. They say, oh, Lord, we're surely going to die now. And a loud sound went across the earth and scared the army. And they fled and left all their riches and gold and whatever they had. They left it behind for the people. Do you see how God works when you get up and leave? Look what happened to me when I got up and left. I stepped down from my beauty business and I became a creator of my own journey. And now I'm bringing you with me. Let's go teach and educate these people the way. I really did enjoy your time. I thank you for listening. And I pray that somewhere, somehow, something resonated in your spirit to fall on your knees and cry out and say, Lord, here I am, send me. Do like Isaiah, send me, Lord. Thank you so much for this time. I really, really have enjoyed myself. And I just want to say, God bless you. Until next time, goodbye.